Alright, today we're finally back with another affordable dupe video. I'm super excited about this one. We're going to be talking about the new cream shadows from Essence. These cream shadows are supposed to be dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. This was actually one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas for the longest time because I love the ease of application and the texture is just so incredibly unique. So when I saw these come out, I was immediately incredibly intrigued. And these are definitely intended to be dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury because they come in similar packaging, they have similar shades, and the formulas feel pretty similar. Now, I will say that the ones from Essence are a little bit less whipped than the Charlotte Tilbury, but otherwise, texture-wise, they feel very similar. We're going to swatch them and do a side-by-side wear test, so let's go ahead and get into it. This first champagne shade is called Pearl. This second shade that I'm holding is called Rose. This is basically like a rose gold or a rose champagne. It's basically like a pinky version of Pearl, the shade that I just swatched. You can see that each shade has a beautiful kind of metallic sheen to it without being overtly sparkly in any kind of way. So if you're looking for a one and done shadow that has a sheen without sparkle, has a wet effect, I think that these are a great option. The third shade that I swatched is called Oyster, and then this fourth shade is called Cocoa. Cocoa is the deepest of the four, and here's what all four shades look like swatched on my arm. I simply can't help it. I just think these are really pretty day-to-day shades. I love the effortless impact and how easy they are to blend out and use. Alright, currently I have only one of the Charlotte Tilbury shades. This is Oyster Pearl, so I thought I would do a side-by-side swatch comparison. As you can see, this formula is a little bit more whipped and moussier, and this is the shade Oyster from Essence. You'll see when I swatch it that this is almost a spot-on dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury one. Even on first impression, I am very impressed. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and start off by doing eye swatches of these four Essence cream shadows, starting off with the shade Pearl. And this is the shade that I think is kind of like a pinky champagne. Again, here is what it looks like swatched on the back of my hand. And I am going to be doing a wear test with these shadows side by side with the ones from Charlotte Tilbury, just so that we can see head to head how the two wear and compare. Here is what the shade Pearl looks like applied. And with flash, just so you can get an even better look. I have to say, you know, when I discovered the cream shadows from Charlotte Tilbury, I absolutely fell head over heels for them. So I'm so happy about this dupe. So the shade that I'm going to be trying on now is called Rose. And this is, you know, basically what I would describe as a rose gold. Here's what it looks like swatched. I really like these lighter shades, and I feel like they look beautiful as one and done, but if you were to smoke them out with a deep shadow in the outer corner, I feel like that would be such a vibe as well. I wanted the Moira ones to be a dupe, but I just didn't feel that the performance was strong enough to end up making a video. I was pretty disappointed, but these really seem promising to me. So here is what the shade Rose looks like. And just with flash, so you can get a closer look. Alright, and now we have the shade Oyster. And this, I think, is a direct dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury shade Oyster Pearl. Let's see what it looks like. I would describe it as kind of like a taupey type of shade. The shine in these is just so pretty. I love how reflective they are. If you want a wet look shadow, I feel like these are a great option. Here's what the shade Oyster looks like applied. And here it is with Flash. All right, and the last shade that we have is Cocoa. This is kind of like a richer brown tone. Still pretty reflective. Here is what it looks like swatched. And this is the shade that I'm going to be doing a wear test with. So I did put a little bit of the About Face primer down on my lid, and that is the exact same primer that I'm going to use with the Charlotte Tilbury. I want to set them up both for equal success. And here is what Cocoa looks like applied. I really love that shade. Talk about a high impact, easy effort eye. All right, and on this lid, I'm going to put the Charlotte Tilbury. I have the shade Oyster. I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury is ever so slightly more creamy feeling, so I'm curious how the two are gonna wear side by side. Again, this is Oyster Pearl, which is a lighter shade than the Essence that I have on the other eye. Here is what the Charlotte Tilbury looks like applied. First impression, I don't think that this is any higher impact than the Essence. If anything, I feel like the Essence is a little bit more reflective. Here it is with Flash. All right, now I'm just going to take a little bit of this Viseart Cool Mattes palette and smoke out the outer corner of each eye. All right, I added some liner and mascara, and here is how each shade is looking. I've got the Essence on this eye and the Charlotte Tilbury on this eye. I will be back after hopefully around 7 hours or so to let you know how each formula has worn. All right, I'm back, and I've had this makeup on without any touch-ups for about 8 hours at this point. And I think that what really pleasantly surprised me is how similarly these two products have worn. Like I mentioned, have tried one product like the Charlotte Tilbury in the past that's affordable from Moira, and quite frankly, I just didn't find it to be nearly as good in terms of, you know, how it applied, how it lasted. So I am very, very happy to see this. I know that Auric does have a product that's inspired by these, but that is not obviously an affordable dupe. Auric is basically a luxury brand. So honestly, I think I can say that this product from Essence is probably the best affordable dupe that there is for the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. A couple of other things I want to mention. This comes in a frosted glass jar, and the Essence one also comes in a glass jar, so it is a bit of an elevated experience for a drugstore brand. The other thing I want to mention is that there are 0.23 fluid ounces in the Charlotte Tilbury and 0.17 in the one from Essence, but still, when you do the math, this one still comes out, the Essence still comes out to be much more affordable than the Charlotte Tilbury. I really enjoy these cream shadows from Charlotte Tilbury, but I no longer feel like they're worth the price point with how far eyeshadows have come in the last several years. And so I'm super happy to know about these and to know that they perform equally as well as the Charlotte Tilbury. I'd love to know in the comments if you've tried the Charlotte Tilbury and what you think about it, and if you've heard about these new cream shadows from Essence. It's been a minute since I've done a dupe video, but I hope you found this video helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.